bring me no bad
No
news.
bad news.
Come
No
on,
bad
happy
news. No bad news. No bad news. No bad
no
news.
bad news. Say,
Don't
don't
nobody
nobody
bring
bring
me
me
no
no
bad
bad
news.
news. Now, if you want to bring me something, make it something I can use. But don't nobody bring me no bad
No
news.
bad news. No bad news.
No bad news. No bad.
A 3, a 2, a 1.
A one.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Read This, Read That. I am Jackie Reed.
I'm Joyanne Reed.
What's up, cousin?
You know, this and that, cuz just in the world.
Well, let's start with your little wind down. Where were you recently? Okay. Tell the people. Tell the people. Tell
Before I answer this question,
people.
I just need y'all to recall last week when I talked about my self-care coach being my soror sister, cousin, friend, Jackie Reed. And she has ordered me to stand down and do self-care, and I am a recalcitrant soul. So yes, I might have sneaked off to Selma in defiance of not just Jackie, but lots of other advice to try to take a moment. And also, you know, there's some security issues and media issues and stuff, and we're trying to like sort of not be, you know, try to avoid a lot of that drama, you know, having to like duck down in the truck to get out of my house, and, you know, photographers from the New York Post and stuff stalking my house and getting the wrong person and saying it was me and putting it in the paper, all that kind of stuff. So we're trying to like back down from that. So that is true. And I did agree to do that. And then my soul just said I need to be in Selma. My soul cried out to me, Jackie Reed, because the reality is I could not sleep. I was losing sleep over not going to Birmingham. I was to speak at the Birmingham alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and I was to do an event with Mark Thompson, our friend Reverend Mark Thompson, who has an event every year in commemoration of Selma, and I was going to march.
And tell them all the things now, and Delta Days.
And Delta Days.
Nicole Hannah-Jones. Go ahead, keep going.
I had a thing at Democracy Forum with Nicole Hannah-Jones, and I tried to clear my schedule really on good advice, sound advice. And then what had happened was I couldn't sleep because my soul was just not quiet. My soul was disquieted because I said, look, in this moment, I feel like these events are so important. I mean, there's only going to be 160th commemoration of the Selma March. The Democracy Forum event was the first one that I put back on my schedule because I was like, nah, I got to be there. You know, what Nicole is doing at Howard University, really trying to get people to focus on democracy is critical. And, you know, I'm like, nah, I got to do that. So first I put that one back on. And then I just started re-adding things. And finally, I reached out to Sean, my poor assistant, who just gets whiplash from the things that I do and then I don't do and then I'm doing again. I was like, put me back on Birmingham and Selma. And so we had to pivot quickly because our wonderful soror, Colette B. Smith, who is so awesome, she had agreed to replace me at the Birmingham alumni chapter. And it was very last minute mad scramble. She stepped in to do it. And then when I changed my mind back and said, no, I got to be there. I got to be there with this wonderful chapter. We did a thing where we plotted to have her say that I couldn't make it. She's replacing me. And then she was going to introduce a video of that I had sent down. But instead of a video, I walked out. And then it was cool. So they had not one honorary member, but two, which was the first time they had any honorary members speak to the chapter. So they were like, in their very first time having honorary members, they had two of us. So two members of the Justice League. So it was great. And then also Colette brought our line jackets, which was cool. So I'm the first one out of the group to get mine. And it was great. I really enjoyed it. Honestly, I had such a great time with the chapter. Yeah. And then we drove down to Selma, did the event, which was really great with Mama Faya Teray and Mark Thompson and all the gang. And Angela Rye was there. Maya Wiley was there. Latasha Brown. It was amazing. So I actually ended up having a really terrific weekend in the great state of Alabama. And then we did the bridge walk, got to hear Hakeem Jeffries, the opposition leader, speak, as well as Senator Warnock, who spoke also at the church at Tabernacle Baptist. It was great. We got to be in the room. One of the last things I'll throw in is that we got to be in the office with the pastor of Tabernacle Church. And he has this historic photo of Dr. King, who was welcomed at the church. Tabernacle was the only church that would let Dr. King speak. And this was not long before he died, where a lot of Black churches were rejecting him, but Tabernacle let him speak. And there's this photo of him coming down the stairs with the pastor. And then there's a man behind him. And Dr. Ben Chavis was the one who identified who that was. The pastor didn't even know who that last guy was. He was actually a member of the FOI, because, the fruit be there for security. And so he identified who that man was. It was really great. And then we recreated the picture. It was great. Like, I had a really great weekend, in defiance of my sources to cousin friend.
Let me just say, in defense of the Wellness Squad, which it's not just me. It's Chris Witherspoon.
It's a group.
It's Michelle Sargent, and her own husband.
Who I dragged along with. He was like, "You doing what
now?" Dragged to this stuff. No, it wasn't just me.
No.
Right? When we were having this intervention with this woman here, her husband was in the background like, "Are y'all talking to her about canceling things? Good. I'm on board for that." He was like, "It's too much. It's too much." It's not that we don't want her to be present at these events and to connect with the people who have shown her so much love over this time. It is that she has to prioritize her health. She's talking about she couldn't sleep. She don't sleep. She don't sleep no way. She's an insomniac. So let's start with the fact that she don't get good
I'm an insomniac.
No way. I couldn't sleep.
But no, it was worse.
No way.
It was worse. I literally couldn't sleep. I was up. Literally, I slept for maybe 2 hours after that night. I could not sleep. I was like, this is not, because all I was thinking about is I need to be at these events. Like, I need to do this in this time, Sora, sister, cousin, friend. It's not a time to sleep. It's not a time to rest. It's a time. You're the one who said Kamala shouldn't rest.
Listen, I said, if she wants to come back, I think this time is a great time for Kamala to just come on in here. We need all hands on deck.
That's what I'm saying. I'm a hand too. I got to be on deck.
You be doing everything. The thing is, you can't do everything. Now, so you did the things that you already said yes to.
Yes.
My challenge to you is don't say yes to shit else. Say no.
No comment.
Because I already know. Because here's the thing you do. When you interact with people, they ask you to do other things. I guarantee you left Selma with about 20 other things that people not only offered to you, but you said yes to. And it is not that I do not want you to share your wonderful self and your wonderful gifts with the world. But baby, like they say, and like we told you in the intervention, if you don't put your mask on first, you're not going to be able to you're not going to keep up with this pace. I'm telling you. I'm here to tell you. But I'm releasing it to God because I'm tired of you. Can I tell you, one of those were bleeding, making your wellness schedule that you just, where's some paper? Wait, here. This is you with my wellness schedule.
Like Nancy Pelosi.
Yes.
Like Nancy Pelosi.
Me. Yep. With the Trump speech. You Pelosi me. That's fine.
But look, can I tell you one of the fun things that happened? So Stephanie Rule of MSNBC,
yeah.
She came down to Selma to go to because I was getting an award at this Mark Thompson thing. She came to the award thing with her two sons, who last time I saw them, they were like little kids. They're like big men now. Nice. It was her first time in Selma ever. She was sitting in Tabernacle Church with her sons. They were witnessing history. They saw Reverend Jesse Jackson. They had never, it was like historic. So I'm like, I got to witness, somebody like who's an ally come and just for the first time really witness all that history. It was her first time in Selma, so I was like, that was fun. I honestly, it was great. I'm sorry, I know it was wrong.
It was great. I know it was great, but you know what your problem is? You have FOMO. You do. You don't want to miss nothing. And sometimes you have to just say no.
But not this moment. Not in this moment.
Okay. When, Joanne? When? Okay. Not this moment.
When the fascism is over.
Mm-hmm.
When the fascism ends, then I will say no.
Girl, listen.
When the fascism recedes. Cheers.
What are you drinking? I'm not even getting into this with you.
This is Moet Imperial Rosé. But I didn't do the Nectar Imperial, which is the sweet one. This is the regular Moet Imperial.
Oh, okay. I've got my non-alcoholic brown liquor. This Kentucky non-alcoholic bourbon. Girl, in my mind, I drink my non-alcoholic so much, I feel like I'm having a drink.
I actually want to try that. See, that sounds good.
Try it because I put that bitters orange drops in there.
Yeah,
I'll show you what this is. You'll like this. This is.
I want that. No, I'll have that because I don't need to be day drinking.
That part because we are recording early in the day today, y'all. It's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
It's noonish.
Early.
It's 1 o'clock. It's early, but hey,
listen,
it's 5 o'clock somewhere, as they say.
It is.
So let me tell you my wind down.
Yes.
We'll talk offline about you being defiant of your wellness goals. Oh, but wait, hold on. Before I move on, let me just, I love to bring comments from the people.
Okay.
And we have so many great new followers and subscribers on our YouTube channel, on our social media. Let me just read a couple of comments from a couple of people. So Rose of Sharon -WR4JR says, "Cuz Joanne, we're sending you a collective group hug to strengthen you for the next leg of your journey. Ma'am, please do not let the wellness coach, Cuz Jackie, have to gather you about the schedule she has organized for you. Thank you in advance." Another random comment.
Totally random. Randomly selected. Random.
Yes. We need, this is from Rest in Freedom. I love that. Yes, exclamation point. We need Joy Reid to be serene and in excellent health for what's to come. Love Jackie's support for Joy too. Well, the support ends. I'm done.
Jackie done fired me, y'all. I'm fired. I got fired again.
Random comments from people that listen to the show. I just want to share that. Okay, so my wind down.
Yes,
girl. Please. I thought I was gonna get jumped.
What?
A couple of days ago. Yes. Let me tell you what happened.
Let me sip. Now I got the day drink.
Girl, I promise you, I was like, am I about to get jumped? So I went to this wonderful place with my cousin and one of his classmates from college. He went to Morris Brown. And the woman, I loved her. We went to see this cover band do Luther Vandross.
Okay.
That's a whole other conversation. But it was a place called.
How was the cover band? Don't pass that by.
Well, listen.
It's hard to do Luther.
It's hard to do Luther.
Yeah.
The first time I saw them, they did Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Okay.
That was cool. That was cool. A lot of people in the audience. It was a party. It was a lot of fun. And they announced then, come back on this date, we doing Luther. I was like, I can't miss that. I love Luther.
Love Luther.
They had a brother who the band brought in to sing most of the songs, who sounded almost identical to Kenny Lattimore. I love Kenny Lattimore. And I love
Kenny Lattimore.
But if I wanted to see Kenny Lattimore sings Luther, then I need to know that. If you don't have somebody singing Luther, you need to be close to what Ruben Studdard is doing. Or what are we talking about?
Facts.
Right? Facts. What do we say? If you can't do if you can't do that.
Don't. Yeah.
Exit to the left, Like what that was missing. And there were some other moments where some things were just not what, like when I saw the band sing Frankie Beverly, I was like, I love a cover band. Girl, it just wasn't connecting the way it needed to. Some of the duets, the girls that they had singing had beautiful voices. It seemed like they needed more rehearsal time. Let me just say that. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
The band, amazing.
Okay.
The people there could sing. It just didn't seem to come together well. And the brother, who was one of the main singers, his voice was beautiful, but it was like Kenny, and I love Kenny. And if I go to a Kenny Lattimore concert and he sings a Luther thing, I'm good with that. But if I'm coming to hear Luther,
we need to hear Luther.
I need to hear Luther.
We need to hear Luther. I agree with that. Facts.
Then on top of that, they didn't have no vegan food.
Oh, so you was hungry?
I was hungry before I came, but I was like, they were very kind to me though, because there's a $25 minimum. But I was like, what am I gonna get?
Right.
So they were very nice to me about that and accommodated me. And I love City Winery. It's I go very often because I love to go there. Right. The one in Atlanta is amazing. And I, shout out to them. I love them so much. They said they were changing the menu to add some vegan things in the future. Very happy about that. So where it is located, you walk out the door and it's in this plaza, if you will, the Pont City Market area for those in the Atlanta area. So there's a Sephora right down the way. And girl, that's where I get my skincare. If I don't order it in the mail.
Right.
I was like, you know what? Let me go re-up. Let me go on Sephora. I'm in Sephora. And before I go and get my car and drive back home, I'm like, you know what? I got a pee-pee. I got a tinkle. So I said, let me go back to City Winery.
Yeah.
Because I just left there. Let me go because there's no bathroom in Sephora. So I'll go back to City Winery, go into the bathroom, tinkle. I'm out washing my hands, and the bathroom in this facility is amazing. It's a public bathroom. So there are all these stalls. There's a big, long sink with like maybe about, or countertop with maybe about 5 sinks on there. So I'm out on the far left end, washing my hands, dry, and their paper towels drying,
Yeah.
And then I dry, throw that away. I get another one. And these 2 girls are at the other end, these 2 women. One of them says to me, when you finish, bring a towel down to me down here.
Excuse me?
I said, talking to.
No, please, no. Wait, what?
No, none of that. And I said, excuse me? She said, when you finish, bring me a towel down here. I was like, no. I just said, because you know how things catch you off guard.
Right.
I just looked at her and her friend and I said, no, I will not. And she was like, and they were in conversation when she was saying this to me. She was like, bring me a towel when you, I was like, I don't know if she thought I worked there, but even if she did.
But even if she did, like, first of all, you don't work for her.
And there were towels right there. They were, I was like, I said, no, I won't. And she was like, they stared at me. And she was like, well, anyway. And she went on telling her story. And then they left the bathroom. And I was a little like, are they going to jump me? Because I'm by myself. I'm like, my cousin and his friend are gone. So I'm like looking out the bathroom door. Because, there are certain cities where things will pop off no matter where you are and for whatever reason. Atlanta, New York, and Philly. You know what cities, but Atlanta, New York, and Philly, something can pop off at the symphony. It's you never know. So
it could be like dee.
Girl, out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
So I said, am I about to get jumped? So I'm looking out and I'm watching them. And I said, well, it's going to have to be what it's going to be. I walk out because I was like, I can't stay here. I got to go where I got to go. So I'm walking out, walking down the hall, and they're just talking and not looking back or anything. And then one of them does look back like they were offended. Like, she like, and I was like, ugh. But girl, yeah, she was ordering me around. I said, in my mind, I was like, am I about to get jumped over some paper towels in the bathroom?
First of all, can we just back up for just a second? Jackie Reed.
Yes.
Why were you by yourself?
Girl, I can go places. No, my cousin and them left.
Why did they leave you? Why were you alone?
Girl, because I go by myself everywhere. Grocery store, you know, all kinds of places by myself. I can't
Were
travel
you
in
in
a
a disguise?
No.
You in
Girl,
it? You in Black Atlanta
baby.
by your Jackie Reed self, just walking
Girl,
around through the streets?
people, like somebody said in the comments, they were like, I just realized who Jackie Reed is. That's that girl from BET News with the pixie haircut. Girl, people don't know me. I don't have on any makeup. I did not have on makeup. I got natural hair. Now people don't know. It takes a minute for people. Some
They
people
have
will
to,
hear my voice and make the connection,
right,
but they're still kind of making the connection that this is me because they're so used to seeing me another way.
with
Girl,
that short hair, right.
it is a beautiful thing. People don't know me every once in a while. Like where was I? I was somewhere and the guy was like, don't I know you? I know you. Aren't you on the news? I was like, no.
And you said no.
You don't know me. Oh, I was getting some food at this this brunch I went to with my mom and my cousin earlier in the week. Girl, these people got me out in the streets way too much. You know, I don't know how you do it. I did 3 things this weekend. I was like, on Monday, I was like, I need to rest. It was too much.
Oh no, I need to get me a bun. I need that because see, sometimes I go out and Winnie will go with me, but see, she be messing me up because she be giggling when I try to do
And she looked just like you. So that's like double.
it. Don't help. Right. As a matter of fact, I gotta say, why did Miles, the youngest, somebody went up to him the other day and said, aren't you Joy Reid's son?
Girl.
He said, no. He said, he called me. He's like, Mom, I got spotted. He was like, and that's happened to him before when he was in middle school. This is when I was doing, let me see, what show was I doing at the time? I think I might have still been at the Griot, but I used to fill in for people and I used to be on MSNBC a lot as a guest. Somebody went up. Yeah, this is when I was at the Griot. I got a call. You're going to be mad at me for telling this story. From a random woman calls me at my desk at the Griot and says, I just met your son. He is so adorable. And I was like, how did you get my number? He was only in 7th grade. It was either he called, he gave her my number. And he said, he is such a good young man. He is such a sweet, he's an old, wonderful old Black lady. He is such a good, sweet young man. I was like, I called him back and said, Miles, don't ever give out my phone number. What are you doing? But she went and she said, you look, she ran into him and said, you look just like Joy Reid.
Girl, let me tell you.
He said, that's my mom.
Let me tell you something about your husband and his genes, girl. They did not show up with your children. They all look so much like you.
They just look like little spinoffs of me.
Girl, they do.
Except Winsome. Winsome looked just like her dad and his mother.
It's a combination. I've never seen his
She's
mom.
a combo, but when she's with me, she looks like me. She looks like whoever she's next to.
Girl, because people see me with my mom and they're like, wow, you look so much like your mom. But then my sister swoops in, you like, oh, wow. Like my mother.
You look like your mom too, though.
Girl.
But not as much as Holly.
When we're together, a lot of people don't think that we favor, but we both look like my mom. But my sister is like a like if you see my mother's children pictures as a child, she will just like my sister.
Like her.
Yeah.
What's so interesting, my sister and I, when we were kids, people used to say we looked like twins. And then we kind of diverted where she looked more like on my father's side. And I look very much like my mother and my mother's and the Carol, my mother's side of the family. I just look like them a lot. Like I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, oh, I do look like my mother's family. Yeah. But baby, when I tell you we have converged back together as we are getting older, we're starting to look alike again, where I look at pictures of myself and I'm like, oh, June and I look alike. Like we are starting to look alike. And definitely my kids, you know, Jason and my children, they favor me. I definitely agree with that. I look at them and I can see. One time, Jamar, the middle one, we did a face swap years ago. And girl, we still look the same. The face swap changed nothing. We just it looked like the same photo. It didn't look any different. I'm like, well, now that's looking like somebody. When you do a literal face swap,
girl,
you still look like.
Y'all look too.
It's a problem.
Like.
It's a problem, but yeah, no, it is. So what I do normally when I go out with the eldest child, I try doing a wig, a hat, glasses. Sometimes I do different looks and I do an accent. So people be like, "Do I know you from TV?" I said, I don't know. What do you mean? I don't know. Who you mean? And they say, you gotta favor Joy Reid from, and sometimes they'll say CNN. And I'll say, oh, I don't know. I don't watch it. Can you tell me more about her? She says, lovely. And then they get confused. And then they get a little confused. I'm sorry. I don't know what you mean. And then Wendy start giggling. And I'm like, Wendy, don't laugh. It messes it up.
Girl, we have to do a whole segment on you and your efforts to be in disguise over the years, girl. The wigs, the hats. Y'all, it is a whole thing. But we have to move on now because we have a great guest coming up today. The Angela Rye is stopping by to talk about some things. Your fellow machete.
Yes.
What do y'all say? The machetes cut too.
The machetes.
Tagline. The machetes cut. Y'all got a tagline. Somebody said machetes cut too, or something like that. But we have a new segment that we are calling "Shit You Need to Know." Because since Joyanne is going to stay involved in the resistance of everything that's going on in the world and be a truth teller, then we want to make sure that this show is part of that. And there are a couple of things that are going on that we really want to share with you all and make sure that you're in the know about certain things that are happening. We can't do everything. We can't, we could, constantly talk about what Trump is doing. Every moment there's something. But when we record our show once a week, we want to bring you specific things where there's a call to action, where there are things that, which means that you can get involved in this based on the information that you share. So shit you need to know, which is what our working title for now. And Joyanne, there are a few things. One of the things we want to talk about is Congressman Al Green, right? And the Congress deciding to censure him because he stood up in objection when Donald Trump was speaking to a joint session of the House and was, I hesitate because I try to be careful with what I say about Donald Trump, but Representative Al Green stood up because he has a problem with efforts to do away with Medicaid.
Well, to cut Medicaid.
Yeah. To cut Medicaid. And mm-hmm. That's why he stood up. And then after that, the House leader decided, and some others, that they wanted to censure him, which is punishing him for that action. Yeah. And they took a vote in the House, and there were 10 Democrats that voted with Republicans to punish him for standing up, for doing his job and standing up for his constituents. So I want you to talk a little bit more about, that situation and what we want people to do as a result of it.
Yeah. And so, Representative Green, by the way, is now an icon, I believe. The photo of him he's 77 years old, and he's there. He holds his cane up and he shakes it at the president and says, "You don't have a mandate to cut Medicaid." That is what he yelled. You don't have a mandate to cut Medicaid. And he was removed by the sergeant at arms, who is Black. So they sent the Black sergeant at arms to physically remove him, supposedly for breaking decorum. But while he's being removed, the almost all white male House of Representatives, Republicans, are chanting, hooting, and singing, "Na, na, 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 goodbye." That also breaks decorum. They were being indecorous to him. So they were treating him with disrespect while they're claiming he was treating Trump with disrespect. They remove him. And the thing that I was a bit disappointed in the Democrats is that when they removed this 77-year-old brother, that every single Democrat did not get up and walk out behind him. Later, some others did walk out, including Maxwell Frost of Florida, including Jasmine Crockett of Texas, Ayanna Pressley. A bunch of them walked out.
Yeah.
But it was later. And during the proceedings, several Democrats held up these signs that said things like, "Trump is lying, it's a lie," things like that.
Yeah.
So after all of this happened, after all of the walkouts, etc., when he was removed, a group of members who had walked out surrounded him and began singing, "We Shall Overcome." So now what's happening is you have Republicans who have already censured Representative Green, with 10 Democrats voting with them. And if you want to know who those 10 Democrats are, you can go to joyannereid.com. I have a post about it, and I have all of their email addresses and their phone numbers if you care to call and make your feelings known about what they did. I put their phone numbers out there if you would like to call them. Make sure you're polite to the person who answers the phone. They just work there. They didn't do it. So just letting that out there. But I put that answer at joyandreed.com, just throwing it out there. But so now, in addition to that, Republicans want to strip Representative Green of his committee assignments. And they want to strip all the Democrats who sang "We Shall Overcome" surrounding him of their committee assignments. Think about that for a moment. Marjorie Taylor Greene, not once, but at least twice, maybe even 3 times in front of joint sessions of Congress, stood up and heckled Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Yelling at him in a big fur coat, looking like a Russian mafia wife, screaming, looking tacky and crazy, yelling and screaming, chanting, "You lie," pointing in his face, all of this stuff, to the point where the last joint session during a State of the Union, Biden like responded to her because she was heckling him. No censure, no committee stripping. You talk about the guy, Joe Wilson, who yelled, "You lie," at President Obama during the joint session of Congress. There was a weak attempt to censure him that didn't even go through. Some Democrats who voted to censure Representative Green said, well, you know, we voted to censure that guy, Joe Wilson. He didn't get censured. So, and that was a clearly racist attempt to embarrass the first Black president of the United States. This brother, Al Green, was standing up in defense of Medicaid. What I also put in that post is how many people in the district of these 10 Democrats are on Medicaid. Yeah. Because I needed people to know that these men are standing up in favor of decorum toward Trump and against the man defending their own constituents' access to Medicaid. Right. That is not only missing the point, Democrats who voted that way, you are standing up against your own constituents and for the least decorous, the least humane president in our history, literally since Andrew Johnson and Andrew Jackson. That man has no decorum. Why does he deserve decorum from a 77-year-old Houston representative born in New Orleans in the 1940s, 77-year-old brother who is trying to stand up for your people? Right. Come on. Al Green is an icon. We should stand with him. Every Democrat should stand with him.
Yeah. No, I love that. And please go to joyreed.com.
Joyandreed.com. You know, we put the "and" in there.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Joanne Reed. The "and" is back. I love it.
The "and" is back.
The "and" is back. And forevermore. That's the name. joyandreed.com for more details on that. I love that. Okay. So the other thing is the Target fast.
Yes.
That is being led by Dr.
Jamal Bryant.
Reverend Jamal Bryant. And that is, it's to coincide with Lent. So for 40 days, we're not supposed to go to Target. We're boycotting Target. And if you sign up at targetfast.org, they'll send you a guide of the Black Chamber of Commerce will send you a guide of businesses that you can shop so you can find things that you're looking for. But talk
Black
a little
businesses,
bit,
Black-owned
businesses that will replace what you were looking, the businesses or the items that you were looking for at Target. Right. I have to say, a friend went to Target this weekend to close out. That's her pharmacy, right? So she's got to switch. So she just went in there to get meds and then left. Said it was full of Black people, the Target here in Atlanta. But talk about the importance of this and just, why we need to be doing this. Because I think it's not too late to, even though you missed the beginning, you can still sign up.
You can still sign up. And actually, the Target boycott had been going on before the beginning of Lent. And actually, there were several groups who were talking about boycotting Target, including National Action Network, Reverend Sharpton. Others have been just on their own boycotting Target because they announced that they were ending their DEI program. And Target is one of the most popular places for Black folks to shop, especially Black women. We sustain Target economically. Their revenue, even before the formal story started coming out about the Target fast, when Jamal Bryant had already started this, it was already happening. Their revenue is already down. They're trying to fake like it's because of Trump announcing tariffs. No, you can't get away with that, Target. And one of the things, exactly, it's Black women in particular shunning Target. And so, that we live, the Target that's near where we live is like half empty now. There's lots of people who are posting about that particular Target. There's still some Black folks in there. Maybe people don't know. Maybe not everybody knows there's a Target boycott. But Medgar Evers always said, do not shop where you are not respected, where they will not hire you and where they will not respect you. Target has shown blatant disrespect to the Black community and to people of color and to LGBTQ folks and to women and to veterans, because DEI is not just Black people. It's veterans, women, LGBTQ, all kinds of groups of people. But they've said we're done with DEI. And we know that for the far right, DEI means Black. DEI is their way of saying black. So when you hear DEI, they mainly mean us. Sometimes they do mean women, and they sometimes also mean LGBTQ, but they are very hyper focused on stripping black people of every single achievement that we made during the 20th and 21st centuries. They're trying to strip us back to the 19th century, y'all. Do not give your dollars to companies who go along with that and who bend the knee to MAGA. Do not do that, because you're not helping yourself and you're not helping your community. You can find those exact same, if you love the black products that were in Target, the Chamber of Commerce, if you sign up, as Jackie said, at targetfast.org, they will send you literally the same businesses you were shopping with inside Target, have their own websites, have their own companies. They were just in Target. So you can get your church hats, get all your church goods, all your gear, everything you need directly from these black businesses, put money in their pockets instead of Target's pockets. The last thing I'll add is that when Jamal Bryant approached Target to say, let's negotiate. You want to change the name of it from DEI, you can call it whatever you want, as long as you're still putting money and resources into the black community. There are Target shops in many white colleges, but they have not one at an HBCU. He said, you should put some in HBCUs as well. You should invest $2 billion, as you promised to do after George Floyd's murder, into black businesses. Keep that promise. And there are two other demands that were made. When he approached them, they said, we'll get you with our chief diversity person. And he said, excuse me, I want to speak to the boss. I need to speak to the CEO. It's so disrespectful that they try to shunt him off to somebody who may not even have a job in 3 weeks, because they're getting rid of diversity. That lady may not even have a job. So why would you say, go meet with our diversity person instead of meeting with the CEO? That was disrespect. They disrespected a leading pastor in our community. They're disrespecting us as shoppers and as workers for Target. So I am on this Target fast. I hope you all will join as well. When Target respects us, we will shop with them again. But as of now, in 40 days, Bryant and the others who are organizing this are going to reevaluate. It doesn't end in 40 days. In 40 days, we reevaluate. Let's see where their stock price, which is dropping. Just like Tesla's stock price is in the toilet. Like these stock prices are dropping because people are voting with their dollars. That's how we have power.
And I want to add, because our producer Camille is asking, trying to throw it out there, why only Target? They wanted to start somewhere in an organized kind of way. What Pastor Bryant is saying, that there will be others, right? Yes. Walmart could be next. Or Amazon, I'm sorry, is what he said, could be next. But they're trying to.
Walmart deserve it too.
Yes, it does. So many places, but they're just being organized. This is just the beginning, as Joyanne was saying. So if you go to targetfast.org, you can sign up and you can follow along and be a part of this movement. Okay, last but not least, I want us to talk about this looming possible budget shutdown. That's coming. And that's the thing that because Republicans are trying to blame it on Democrats. And we need to kind of set the record straight with that. So what do we need to know about this looming government shutdown that Republicans that we could be headed for?
So as you may or may not know, the federal government has not been able to fund itself for even a full year in years, because Republicans generally obstruct any effort to have a lengthy sort of big budget that lasts over a year. So what they've been doing are called continuing resolutions. So they just extend the funding of the government 3 or 6 months at a time. So the latest version of this, they did it last fall. They averted a government shutdown by extending, it's called a continuing resolution. It's just a fancy way of saying they just extend the budget for another few months to then, kick the ball down the road. So the current continuing resolution vote is this coming Friday. Republicans have just a 3 or 4 vote majority in the House, but that's enough for them to pass a budget on their own. Democrats are in the minority. Democrats do not control the House. They don't control the Senate. They don't control the Supreme Court. They don't control the White House, obviously. This is a Republican government. I want you to tell a friend, what we are experiencing right now is a full MAGA Republican government. It's not even a regular Republican government. It is a MAGA Trump Elon Republican government. They control everything. Democrats have nothing to do with it. If the government shuts down, that's on the people in control. That's the Republicans. They don't, but what they're doing is there's something called the Freedom Caucus. It's about 40 Tea Partiers who are members of the Republican House. those approximately 40 Tea Partiers that call themselves the Freedom Caucus, they love to vote against continuing resolutions because they believe in what's called regular order. They want a full year budget passed, which is not a crazy thing to want, but they also want to slash all social spending. They would love to get rid of Medicaid, Medicare, just privatize everything. They want to do a lot of what DOGE is doing, but they want it to be in a formal budget. What the current House Speaker, Mike Johnson, has done is he's put forward Trump's hand-picked budget ideas, put them in a continuing resolution that cuts $800 billion out of Medicaid, that cuts things like food stamps, Head Start, Meals on Wheels, that literally eats into social spending. And they attach that to a budget that only increases one thing: defense. So defense gets more, your grandma gets less. Defense gets more, children who need Head Start and food get less. That's what they are asking Democrats to help them pass. Right. Democrats have already said no. Opposition leader Hakeem Jeffries has said, we are not giving you a single vote. And we need to make sure that Democrats stick to that. Not one, including those 10 that voted against Representative Green, they better stick with Hakeem. Hakeem is the leader, and he said no votes. Let the Republicans, if they think they can pass a Medicaid gutting budget, a poverty hurting budget, a hurting the poor and the sick and the elderly budget, let them do it on their own. Democrats ain't got nothing to do it. When the government shuts down, it's on MAGA Republicans. Trump, Elon, Republicans. The end.
Agreed. Okay. So that is the shit you need to know for this week. We've given you call to action, including going to joyannereed.com for more detailed information on some of this information, but you need to be going there on a regular basis anyway.
And targetsmart.org.
Oh, yes. And targetfast.org.
Targetfast.org.
We want to go there as well and pay attention on Friday to what's going on so you can keep up with how that vote goes. All right. Moving on to our Let's Talk topics. We were going to talk about something else, but so much is breaking today with Wendy Williams. We wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit. So this is the situation. So she's at Lenox Hill Hospital in New York City for an independent evaluation, but the police had to escort her there because, girl, she was knocking on a window asking for help, and they responded to that. And so they escorted her out, and she was on Fox 5 in Atlanta this morning. She was on the Breakfast Club talking about the situation that she's dealing with. And if you heard her, I listened to Don Lemon did a bit of a call with her. He talked to her for about 10 minutes and then he got disconnected because she's still in a position where she can't call out, right? You can you can't call her. She can't receive calls, but she can call out, but she's not allowed to do it on a regular basis. But Joyanne, when I was listening to her in these interviews today, like she sounds like she is very well mentally. Very, like before when she's done some interviews, I was like, she doesn't sound like she's all there. She has such clarity now, in my humble opinion. I'm not a doctor, based on the 2 interviews. And she was saying they're paying like $18,000 a month for her to be in the facility that she's in. Even in New York, that's a lot to pay a month. And she said she calls it a mausoleum. She says she's not allowed to leave. She's only allowed to have certain visitors. She has no idea how much money she has right now to the penny. She says she has an idea, she said, but there are other people that are allegedly spending her money. She said the last time she did an interview that her son was spending her money in ways that she wasn't aware of. And so there are all these things going on. And so what's up in the air is, will she go back to this facility? They said she passed the evaluation with flying colors. And they're asking you questions like, who's the current president? Just sir, what day is it? But there's more to the evaluation. And they said she passed this evaluation with flying colors. So she's at the hospital as of the time of us recording this. So I don't know. They say she's saying she's being held in the memory unit, and there's video. If you look, like TMZ has something on this, and there's you can see her putting her hand up on the window. Girl,
this is crazy.
Crazy.
It's like a hostage situation. And the thing is that I'm very dubious because remember, Britney Spears was in one of these situations where you've got someone else controlling your life, and they claim it's because of medical need and that you can't handle your own affairs. But
Yeah.
at a certain point, this is an adult who has the right to at least know how much money she has and spend her own money and not have other people making decisions for her. And it does feel to me like she's being robbed
Yeah.
of her
Yeah.
freedom and of her finances.
And of her finances. And I feel like the big reason that she wants to come back on air and do something she's still considering that is A, she loves being connected with the people, but B, I think she's worried about her finances and worried
Sure.
about whether or not she needs to keep making money. So it's
Yeah.
a crazy situation that
It
we're staying on top of, but this was all happening as we were preparing for the show. And I was just like, we got to give you an
Wow.
update on Wendy.
Yeah.
And if you listen to our audio show, we did an interview with Wendy right before on Read This, Read That. It's an old episode, and I reposted a bit of it. Gosh, maybe about 8 weeks ago. I reposted.
Yeah.
But if you go down, Read This, Read That in our archives, you can find it. Okay. Something else that we have to talk about. We're gonna get to the whiz, but hold on.
Okay, I'm waiting. You know I'm waiting.
We're gonna get to the whiz, but we got to give that time. We might have to do that. Hold on. So Meghan Markle started her new show. And I think it's called With Love, Meghan, which I love the title.
Mhm.
And I've watched a couple of episodes of it because I was in love with her lifestyle brand before she even got with Prince Harry. She had a website called The Tig, where
Mhm.
she did these exact things that she's doing now. Girl, people are criticizing her like crazy. They're doing spoofs of her on social media. And it's like media organizations are writing bad reviews of the show. I mean, it is just crazy how much people hate this woman.
Yeah.
She already got year 2. She already got season 2, though, of her show. So congratulations to her. But I encourage everybody to watch it and support her and show her some love on social media. Because a lot of times, when something is good and we love it, and there's a lot of negativity, sometimes we don't answer enough to it. We need to just say, not that you have to respond to those negative people, but put something out there saying how much you love the show, if you indeed love it, which I plan to do because I absolutely love it and what she's doing.
Yeah. And I mean, I do understand why she's so hated. It's because she's a Black woman who took the attention away from the very white royal family. And she became a sensation in a way that the current sort of princess in waiting did not. Her wedding, which we covered together, Jacque and I covered, and we had our little hats. We had our little hats, and we did all
little fascinators.
All fascinators, and we were fascinating. We were fascinating, all fascinators. And like it is crazy to me that beautiful wedding, which I've never seen a more beautiful wedding, to be honest with you. I thought it was more beautiful than Charles and Diana's wedding, which I stayed up for as like a 6th or 7th grader. But this wedding was more beautiful. Her dress was gorgeous. The way Harry looked at that woman, I was like, he looked like a kid in a candy store who had just won all the balloons and the stuffed animals at the fair and sunk every basket at the fair and won everything. This dude looked like he had won the greatest lottery in the history of life. I've never seen a more loving couple, and he gave up his crown, his title for her. Essentially, he walked away from his royal duties for her, and not the way that the old thing happened, where the kind of Nazi adjacent, man in line for the throne did. No, in this case, this brother just is smitten with this woman, and people are so mad about it. I think partly because there is my husband was born in London. He was originally a Brit, and he will always tell me, and I never really believed it. My mother used to say she used to live in England, and she used to say that the racism in England is more classism, and that it's not as overt. It's not overt but you have to remember, American racism was originally created by the British. The British were the Americans. They were the people who created this incredibly racist slavery system. The Brits did that. And they may have pleasant accents and that sort of thing, but they were the originators of American racism. It was born there and transferred here in the forms of slavery and Jim Crow. And so there is a deep racism that runs through the heart of that country too, that you don't see overtly because it's more polite, but it's real. The viciousness of the British press toward her. the cruelty of the British online and print press toward her is crazy. And he even talked about it in his interview, which I thought was excellent, with Oprah Winfrey, where she unpacked that racism that they experienced. To me, it's wild. I think part of it is because people in Britain want the current Princess of Wales to be the star, but she can't outshine Meghan, because Meghan is just a star. She was already a low-key celebrity, and it just has star power like Diana. This sister is the new Diana. And whether you rock with her or not, I know a lot of Black women are like, well, I don't rock with her because she really wasn't super Black. Her mama is. Watch her mama do it. And yes, she is.
Yeah.
The mama is. Okay. And you need to embrace her, because we need to defend our sisters. And she is a sister.
We need to. She's not Black enough. What she got to wear cornrows?
What she got to do? She Black. You know what?
She Black. And that wedding that we covered, girl, was blackity black.
Blackity black. They had a Black choir. They had a Black pastor.
Black officiating the wedding.
Serena Williams was all up in there. Oprah. Look, when I tell you that was the blackest wedding, and
the blackest royal wedding in
ever.
History.
And you may not think she's Black, but as far as they're concerned, she looked like this.
Yeah.
They treat her like she's blue black.
And so we have to defend her. And I just want to say, not only did Prince Harry step away from the royal family for her, but for himself and for his children, right? Because of the way that they were treating her and the threats and the racism that she sat down with Oprah Winfrey in a one-on-one and really detailed what was happening. And people want to poo-poo it away. That girl was going through it.
Yes.
And so was her husband. And they walked away from so much, not just the titles, right?
Yes.
But wealth. I mean, a lot of wealth that they walked away from. And so, I mean, you cannot just abandon this woman and leave her to the wolves, because girl, there's so many, and it's not just British white people that hate her.
It's Americans.
Girl, it's Americans that cannot stand this woman. But I remember talking to someone one time, a white woman, and she was like, well, she this and she this. And I said, none of that is true.
None of that
is based in fact. She did not do this. And yes, they pit her against Kate Middleton all the time. All the time. And it's like Kate Middleton.
And they make her the mean girl, from being in the office, all you sisters, all you Black women, you guys know how it goes. If you get into it with a white colleague, you get pit as the mean girl and the bully. Even if you are the victim of microaggressions, this is what's happening to her. They're trying to make her look like the mean girl, when all that I've heard is that the meanness and cruelty has been directed at her, and that she's not she may have been awkward in her relationship to figure out how the protocols work, because she's new to the whole royal thing. She didn't know what to do. There were times when she might have been awkward, but this is not, from what she's been on Win with Black Women. I've not experienced anyone who has recounted a story to me of her being a mean girl. I've never heard anything like that. I've only heard about cruelty toward her.
Yeah. And it's not just that she was dealing with the public over in London, or the press, but there were people within the royal staff around her, supposedly working for her that were very cruel to her.
Yes.
And microaggressions towards her and aggressions toward her. I mean, there were concerns about the babies, the children that they were going to have, and how Black they were going to look.
Do you remember the picture that circulated in the British press, and the guy who did it got in some trouble? They put out a picture of a man holding a monkey, a little monkey's hand, and said that is Meghan and Harry's son. Said that this monkey was that when she had her child, they portrayed their baby as an ape. That child is pink skin with red hair. That child looks like Harry. It's like a baby Harry. Both the kids look like Harry, but in the minds of the British press, that child, the oldest one, is an ape. Okay. They're literally, they treat them as if they are as Black as coal. So it doesn't matter if you all think that she's not rocking Black enough and her presentation is not Black enough. The way she's treated, she's Black enough. Yeah. They know she's Black, and they make it very clear. Remember, Piers Morgan was one of the ones who led the mob against her because he wanted to date Meghan Markle. That's the low-key story.
Reportedly, she wouldn't date him.
She wouldn't date him. So he's now got a thing against her. So you have all these people who are working against her. And I was telling Jackie, we were talking about it before, the guy, Robert Pattinson, for a while was dating a Black musical artist who was actually really talented and really brilliant. And they couldn't withstand the hate that they got.
Yeah.
Because, and so again, don't get it twisted. Them accents is cute, but there's racism in England too. So those of you who are thinking of exiling to the UK, just be aware.
Yeah.
There's a bit of it over there as well.
I'm trying to look up the singer because I want to give her due. What is her name? FKA Twigs.
FKA Twigs.
Who's so talented and beautiful and wonderful. But they
let her have it.
Toward her when they were dating, when the two of them were dating, was just unbelievably cruel, horrible, and it's hard to withstand. So so we stand with Meghan Markle. Watch the show on Netflix. It's really lovely, and it's her. I think the set that she's on is like this little cottage where, because of course you wouldn't want to do cooking and have guests over in your home. And people criticized her for that. This is not your home. It clearly is not. She's not lying about that.
I mean, neither are the housewives living there that y'all enjoy.
Girl.
And by the way, we would love to have Meghan on.
People that lived in rented houses when they were on MTV, like that happens. But this is so she can have a set, to do cooking, have people over, the film crew. Imagine if her kids were around, she'd be so distracted. So, and I
put y'all in her house. Y'all ain't entitled to be in her house.
No. What? And she's not saying this is my house. It's clearly a set that they're using. But it's lovely. She's cooking, she's gardening, she's making DIY gifts, all these, like, it's really, somebody was saying that she was trying to bite off of Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart is not the only homemaker in town. She is not the only chef. She's not the only person that thought of, let me do this on TV. A lot of people have done this type of thing and been very successful with it. Meghan Markle is no different. Yeah, girl, they're comparing her. They're saying she's stealing from Martha Stewart.
What?
They just hate this girl. It's crazy.
The hate is out of control. And by the way, I think we should invite Meghan on. I think if she would be willing to come on, I would love to have her come on. Read this, read that. Come on, sis. Come on over here and hang with us.
Come on, Boo. We'll show you some love. She can decide what mocktail and cocktails we have.
And look, she could suggest us a lovely mocktail cocktail. I'll even drink the mocktail. I could not day drink once.
Listen, from your lips to God's ears. Come on through, Meghan. Come on through, girl.
Come on.
So, Joyanne, brace yourself. I told you about this, but I know your favorite movie, girl, it has been in the news because someone from The Root decided to write an article. I'm going to read you the headline, and then I want you to react. The headline and the subheadline. It's time for Black folks to admit that The Wiz is not a good movie at all. Subheadline, your grandma may have loved it, but you can admit the truth now. Baby, let me tell you my response. Excuse you. We will admit no such thing. This movie is a classic and will forevermore be seen as such, and therefore will only be recognized as all caps greatness. Furthermore, any movie that stars Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, Richard Pryor, Nipsey Russell, Mabel King, Ted Ross, Iman, Teresa Merritt, and Lena Horne, all together and graced with the musical genius of the Quincy Jones, will never be seen in our eyes as anything less than stellar cinematography. Signed, how dare you? That was my response. Girl, I know this is your favorite movie, but what the hell?
What is happening?
Clickbait?
It has to be clickbait, and also for it to come from a Black publication. You just read the stellar list of people involved, just the Quincy Jones soundtrack alone. The fact that you had the greatest geniuses in Black musical history all in one film that was made in 1979. Think about this era, 1979. The Wizard of Oz was made in 1939, and the copyright for The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, the book, expired literally in 1978, and immediately Sidney Lumet and Quincy Jones got together and decided to create what really to me is the greatest film to me of all time, but also the greatest experience. Think about being a kid in the 1970s when
Yes.
you really didn't see all Black cast films. It was so rare to see a cast of Black people on the big screen at all.
Right.
When as a child, I went to go see The Wiz. Just that alone, having gone to see Star Wars and, Jaws and all these other films where Black people we weren't even a part of it. We just weren't seen. If you did see Black people, it would have been in ways like, the Jeffersons or Sanford and Son. You would see a little bit of Black people on TV, but even that wasn't that that ubiquitous. We didn't exist really in Hollywood. They didn't see us. And so this film came along. I don't even think it did that well when it first came out, but I know we saw it and we would watch it every year because this was the most Black experience of taking a classic white storyline, the Judy Garland classic, and making it relevant to us as Black people. The graffiti on the walls that showed you a New York, the subway that showed you what New York City was like as a New York native who had really not remembered being in New York because I'd left when I was 2. It showed me New York. It was, Michael Jackson was obviously my very favorite musician at the time. We loved Diana Ross. My mom loved Nipsey Russell. All of these incredible characters who had come from Broadway. The Stephanie Mills Broadway musical that was a huge hit that established her also as Dorothy. To look, I'm sitting here with my playbill. I'm here with my playbill because this was redone on Broadway. There was just a fabulous. Oh, girl, they just redid it on Broadway. And it's like you think about the fact that anyone could even come out, speak out of their mouth or type that this is not a great.
I don't understand it, but when I tell you people came out of the woodworks to tear this little whippersnapper down.
I need to go get my soundtrack. I have the album soundtrack. I have all the Wiz.
Girl, but listen,
my favorite.
You brought up, Stephanie Mills, and I want to say that existed first, right?
It did.
Stephanie Mills.
The play was first.
Right. The script and everything came from, for the movie came from the musical. But the thing is, I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Shout out to our girl, Stephanie Mills, who we have to get on this podcast. I was able to go to Broadway with my family because I had family in Philly. So for us to drive up to New York, I saw The Wiz with Stephanie Mills.
Oh, you're so lucky.
I did, right? But everybody couldn't get to New York. And so while that was an incredible thing that existed, if you couldn't get to Broadway, you couldn't experience the telling of The Wizard of Oz, the retelling of, right? The reimagining of The Wizard of Oz, which is what The Wiz was, right? And so that movie I remember being a kid and my mom taking a bunch of us, me and my friends, to the movie theater to see the Wiz. Shout out to, my 7th grade boyfriend, Eric Dunlap, who went with us. We all went to sit to the movie theater to see it. My mom took us to see the Wiz. So it was such an incredible thing. So to just dismiss it, and it is something just that it was horrible. It's just blasphemy.
It's blasphemy. I mean,
if you believe in yourself, girl, believe. Ooh, by Lena Horne.
If you believe, can you imagine When I Think of Home? You think about Stephanie Mills had a hit record with When I Think of Home, right? Yes. And I remember my cousins would come, Auntie Dolly's kids would all come, and the 3 of us and the 3 of them would all sit there and sing. We would try to, we all thought we were like a singing group. And one of our favorite songs to sing was When I Think of Home. And my cousin Janice would be the lead, and we would all try to sing along. Like, these songs meant so much to us growing up. You know what I mean? You think about just that soundtrack alone, even if you had never seen the play.
Be a lion.
Be a lion.
Mine is Be a Lion. I mean, that part when they sing when
you're standing strong and tall, you're the greatest of them all. Listen,
on courage you must call. Then I'll
just keep on trying and trying and trying. Yes. You're a lion
in your own way.
Be a lion, 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 lion. Oh my God. I mean, it's like, how do you not love that?
That song moves me to tears
every time.
time.
Can
I
I tell you
love
what
that soundtrack. And I have the original from the Broadway. I don't even have the one from the movie, which I need to get also, because I loved all those actors and the people that I mentioned. You know, the Mabel King, Teresa Merritt, Ted Ross.
Wait, hold on. I got to go get my album. 1 second.
Okay, go get it.
I got to get it. Hold on. I got to get it. I got to get it.
You're standing strong and tall. You're the greatest of them all. If on courage you must call, then I'll keep on trying and trying. It's a musical interlude. And trying. Yes, I'm a lion in my own way. You can definitely cut this, Camille. I'm a lion.
Oh, listen,
girl.
Here it is. This is the original.
Oh my God!
Album soundtrack. And I have 2 of them because Tina, who we call the White Jackie Reed, my former executive producer, she bought me this for Christmas because she knows it's my favorite movie and my favorite play, but I already had it. So now I have 2. So I have the other one in plastic and pristine plastic. But look at this. You talk about just the fact that these incredible stars were in the same movie with Richard Pryor and Nipsey Russell and Diana Ross. And, you know, you think if you, Michael Jackson in the same film. How do you not love this? I remember that albums used to have this thing where they would open up. Like this was like,
oh, girl, that's when I used to love to read an album from cover to cover.
Same.
Who were the musicians on a particular song? If they're background vocals, who was that? Girl, I used to just say the things that I did before I had a smartphone. I had a
phone. I used to love the albums because you would open it up and there would be a liner notes.
Girl,
sometimes all the lyrics.
Ooh. Everything.
And that era, you think about it, because we didn't have internet and smartphones and everything, we really experienced things, I think, more in a direct way. It was visceral. Like you physically went to see the play. We physically went to see the movie. When it would come on TV every around Christmas, they would put it on TV locally in Denver. And we would all gather around and watch it as a family and sing along and dance along. If you disparage that history, then you really don't respect Black musical history, Black theatrical history. You don't respect the Black experience
culture.
Or Black culture.
Yeah, he was saying it's boring. That's what he said. How do you watch The Wiz and think that it's boring?
How?
With the costumes, the music, these stars, the everything. Like
we had our kids watch it a couple Christmases ago. We made everybody sit down and watch it, and they were grooving to it. You know what I mean? It's like, and they're young. It's like, it just, I don't understand who raised you if you think The Wiz is boring and you don't think that these incredible stars. Maybe you don't know who these people are. Maybe you should Google who these people are.
I just question someone's life experience who would come to this conclusion about The Wiz. You know what I mean?
Even if you see the current one, shout out to Deborah Cox, who played the Glinda role on Broadway and killed it. I mean, this incredible. And you know what? The most underrated song, I have to say, in The Wiz is What would I do if I could feel? It's one of the most underrated joints in the whole film, in the whole play.
Oh, it's great music. It really, really is. No, I don't
understand it. If you don't love When I Think of Home, turn in your black card. Just turn it in.
Child, don't bring me no bad news. Don't bring me no bad news.
Don't nobody bring me no bad news. Come on.
No bad news. No bad news. No bad news. Don't nobody bring me no bad news.
Now, if you want to bring me something, make it something I can use. But don't nobody bring me no bad news.
No bad news.
No bad news. No bad. And then, and it's funny because after the 2020 election, true story, I was in New York because we were doing a special after the election. And I literally put in my headphones, Brand New Day. Can you feel a brand new day? That was my theme song. Yeah, I used this. The Wiz was my soundtrack for when Trump was defeated the first time. Because that's literally how I felt. And I posted on my social media. I made my banner that image of Dorothy dancing dancing with the liberated people from from Oz, and it's like,
Oz.
yeah, it
Everybody
has
was
so much
around.
meaning.
Girl, that song, Can You Feel a Brand New Day? You can wake
Ah,
up every day with that and
listen,
have the encouragement and joy you need to overcome just about anything. That
everybody look up. I mean, there's a whole new way of living now. I mean, like, how do you not
everybody
love
look
this?
around.
Hello, world. I always knew
Yeah,
we would be free somehow. You know, I mean, like,
the
you
world.
listen, freedom,
Yeah,
you
that's
see,
a
it's
good
got our
one.
hearts living so joyfully. It's like every lyric, everything about this film is classic and brilliant, whether it's the play or the film. I love it. Favorite
Yeah,
thing ever. I don't care what anybody says. Fight me.
girl. Y'all need to take that down and
Take it
reprimand
down.
that.
That was
Horrible.
simplistic. All right, we have a great guest, a wonderful guest right now, and she is one of the Machetes. We also call her the Chief of Staff to Black America. She is the co-host of the Native Land Pod, the NAACP Image Award-winning Native Land Pod, former commentator on MSNBC and CNN, queen of Black media, and also the Black resistance. She is the coordinator of the resistance. My friend, my sister, my dear friend, and also sometimes the person that I just literally have to take all advice from to try to save myself and my soul. The wonderful, the incomparable, the gorgeous Angela Rye is in the house. Angela Rye.
Thank you,
Woohoo!
Joy. I just want to take this moment to say half of that was misinformation.
Fake news? No, not fake news. I don't do fake news. Look, we call her the mama of the machetes, Jackie. We call her the mama of the machetes because she is she's the convener. She is the great
She
convener.
wrangles things from what I've witnessed as of late. She is the wrangler of all things. She will get it together and have y'all aligning information. I
Yes.
love it. I
But
love it.
I shouldn't admit it because we talked about it earlier in the podcast. But I do have to say, cousin Sora, sister friend Jackie Reed, this sister right here is also the co-conspirator in getting me to sell.
Oh, I know.
Don't say nothing.
I
Don't
already
say
know.
it.
Well, since we're starting on the 60th commemoration of Bloody Sunday,
Come on.
I do want you to know, Jackie, I heard that there was an intervention and I had to buck the system because I had to listen to God. And I think if you talk to Joy Reid, she will tell you that that was God. I was like, I said, I promise to support whatever you decide to do for this trip. But I'm just telling you, I'm feeling uniquely called in this moment. And I'm tired. Like, we got so much going on. That meant that I missed my, well, I actually didn't miss. What did I do? Oh, I got here really late before my mom's chemo on Monday, but I felt called. And I think that there was a reason for that. We ended up like, we staying in a hotel. That wasn't one that we were staying on our machetes trip.
No.
But the point wasn't that. The point was really to touch down on the soil where our ancestors, our predecessors walked across a bridge for progress. And I think as sad as it was to be walking across that bridge and it feels like we're walking back into time, we needed to do it to understand what courage really looks like,
Yeah.
So, and then Jackie, the way that she was celebrated, she needed to be poured into in that way. And I want them to know it don't matter what camera you turn off of Joy Reid, she ain't going nowhere because the people said so, boo-boo. So write that down and take a picture. That's not for Jackie. That's for them others that thought they could do something to Joy. Unstoppable. We baby's kids. We don't die. We multiply.
We multiply.
Bye.
I love it. No, I'm not mad at her showing up for something historical like that.
Yeah.
If she's also not saying yes to 500 other things.
Yeah.
Right. Because all that I would ask the same of you, Angela, because I've seen you, girl. You are like the Energizer Bunny. It's like if you're not here, you're there. You're doing a million things, and then you're helping, take care of your mom and different things like that. So your wellness has to be a priority.
For sure.
This one don't sleep.
Well, neither of us sleep. I will tell. No, we're both terrible at it. And I will say, Jackie, that's the part. So Joy, in case we haven't talked about this, melatonin, you get in the bath, that good Epsom salt bath. They got magnesium in it right before you go to bed. There's something new. There's a new supplement that I'm taking. This is not medical advice. I am a lawyer. I will say that. But there is a new supplement that I started taking right before bed called glycine. Very helpful. And then I will also say that it helps to put the devices down, Joy Reid, before you go to bed. Because if you read Crisis before you go to bed, it's real hard to lay down. Now, Jackie, I will also tell you this. The other thing that I feel like God has dropped in my spirit is every battle ain't mine. It's the Lord's. So what I've been doing is if I am energized by whatever fight or the thing that's before me, I'll take it on. If it feels like it's draining or toxic or whatever, I'm putting it down. I can feel the difference now. I wasn't always that way. This has literally changed in the last 12 to 14 days. And it matters. It matters. It's like, oh, I feel called to this. I can see how you're making the path straight. I can see how you're opening the doors. Like people are like, oh, you pulled all this. I'm like, I know that was God. Because most of these Negroes don't like each other. So I'm like, I know. It didn't have nothing to do. It was in spite of me. Some of them don't like me. So it wasn't about that. It was like, okay, we are being called to come together to do different. And I think we all answered the call. So I'm grateful.
For sure. And can we talk about that? Because what you are in part talking about is State of the People, which was incredible. And we did live stream it on the Read This, Read That YouTube page. We had 49,000 people total views on our page alone, and millions, I think over 3 million, I want to say, total views for State of the People, which was a 24-hour marathon. Hopefully y'all were a part of it. And as you said, it brought together some unlike Blacks. We were talking about Blacks from every corner of the universe who maybe even didn't meet.
It was the Bloods and the Crips, okay?
Bloods and the Crips was way down together. And it literally was so incredible. Can you just talk a little bit about why you wanted to do and why we did State of the People and what was the purpose of it?
Oh, okay. So one thing first, Jackie, I should warn you that Joy and I both have a little bit of ADD. So I'm going to go backwards 1 second, Joy, and then I'm going to be back on message. Jackie, I also want to thank you because so many of us, look, we're not that different in age, but you started very young informing our people. And I want you to know how legendary you are, how meaningful your voice has been to Black people, to me personally. I was like, first of all, she fly and she reporting the facts. I'm here for it all day long. So BET Nightly News would not have been a thing without you, without Ed Gordon, who also is a legend who participated in this programming. I just thank God for y'all. And most importantly, I thank God for you all for continuing the fight. Now, to that end, see that transition? Look at that message. To that end, State of the People.
Thank you.
Where we really strive to ensure that our people knew the facts about this administration for 21 hours before he even walked into the House chamber, the House floor where Donald Trump was scheduled to deliver the joint address to the American people. For 21 hours, people pulled together panels, conversations about the lawsuits, 95, I think, and counting, the executive actions, over 100 at this point, that he's taken to cause harm to Black people first, and of course to all other people. But our focal point was ensuring that Black people were informed, empowered, and knew that the fight is just beginning, and that we have a lot to do, and we are going to equip you with the things that you can do to make a difference. You don't have to sit idly by feeling hopeless. A number of us, I think, really before we came together, were feeling isolated, disempowered, alone, and hopeless. And I think within a week's time, most of us have like delved into a paradigm shift. Most of us have experienced a real shift in our own energy on, okay, no, the fight is just beginning. I'm ready. And I thank God for that, because it didn't have to be that way. But through unity, through talking about the tough things, even having people with different policy leanings and political leanings on the programming, it mattered. We wanted our people to see that there were options and we are not stuck. We are not alone. Democracy doesn't have to crumble. When we were in Selma, Janae Nelson, who also had a panel for NAACP LDF during State of the People, defined democracy as people power. And when I think that that's really something we should take on. We've been saying protect democracy, defend democracy, don't let democracy come. We got crumble, and Black folks are like, this thing ain't served me right. You know, but if we say don't let your power be stripped, ensure that the people always retain the power, ensure that you're leaning into the people power, what you're called to do, that hits different. And so I think that we should start really using that framing to ensure we reach our people and know that the power is still in their hands, no matter what these folks are telling them.
Amen.
Now, Angela, I want to ask you, I want you to take us behind the scenes a bit. How far ahead did you all have to plan for this? And take us behind, like, what all did it take? Give us behind the scenes of pulling this off. That's what the people want to know.
Well, first, let me shout out the people behind the scenes who probably were ready to fight me. I don't know. I might be blocked at this point, but let me shout them out anyway. Holly Holiday, many of the Black women in our community who participate in Win with Black Women know Holly Holiday. From there, Holly Holiday just like is a gangsta angel, if that's such a thing. She is one. Lolo Smith, who is our Native Land Pod research producer, but I keep calling her Charles Barkley because she is the coldest utility player in the game. Mark Thompson, who, let me tell y'all, Mark had 52 jobs, man. Okay. Mark was killing it. Mark Thompson was our Hill reporter. He was our producer. He was our platform identifier. He was our prayer warrior in the cut. He was getting us. He always tell me, I'm bossy. Mark, you bossy. Mark was getting us all together and being like, no, Angela, we're not going to do it this way. What we have to do is like he was like cold. And then last but certainly not least is Ashley Allison. Ashley and I feel like we've gotten so much closer in this process through her production company, Watering Hole Media. She came up with the best schedule. She had so many solutions. When I tell you, everybody figured out how to get to yes. It was incredible. My professional development program kids, they're not kids. Some of them are young adults. Y'all still kids, we old. They came social media, producing segments at 3 and 4 in the morning. I mean, just like, my God. And then every organization who dedicated resources to ensuring that our people knew facts. It was incredible. And it was done in about 36 hours.
That's right.
A 24-hour marathon was pulled off in 36 hours. That's why I'm telling y'all, like, I'm not being modest. It was not me. I know it was God, because it wasn't supposed to be able to and then they figured out how to not just stream on a page. They figured out how to get signals to all of our YouTube pages. It streamed everywhere. You know, it was like a socialist movement. Okay. It was
it was amazing. And the thing is, what is so incredible about it, it was a proof of concept for something that I think we all agree is needed. And we go back to what you were saying, the praise the very rightful praise you were giving to Jacque, who we all, like you said, we all were watching her on BET Nightly News, because that's where we could get news that actually, registered with us. And it was about us. We have not had that kind of a platform since BET shifted to something else under Viacom and became a different kind of network. We loved Teen Summit. We loved BET.
Yes, I love Teen Summit. Wait, Joy, I love Teen Summit. I've been trying to get people to run that thing back over and over again. I'm like, bring it back. And I want to know Summit.
We need it. And so, but I think what we realize is all of it, the enthusiasm you just showed for Teen Summit, just thinking about it, we don't have anymore a place to go to get information, but also get entertainment, but also get fed what we need. And so what we did and what happened, and you just shouted out that dream team that put all that together. And look, that is proof of concept that it is needed. And so the next thing that we got to really make happen is to have we don't have to do 24-hour marathons, but we do need a 24-hour platform where Black folks can be fed.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think, first, I do want to say, I hope that Jacque, you will consider, maybe you and Ed, that would be real gangster.
Oh my God.
A nightly news thing. Like, I think people would live for that. I hope we can consider that. We are talking about building something right now. So for all of y'all with big money, we'll take your investment.
We'll take it.
We're talking about this right now. We didn't talk about Teen Summit, but maybe we do that with these young content creators we have, Joy. That would be incredible. We giving away IP right now, but somebody go do it. If you beat us to it, great. We'll watch it twice.
For real.
Because that's where we are right now too. There's no spirit of competition. The spirit of competition is dead. Right now. It's the spirit of survival, right? Yeah. It's the spirit of liberation for Black people. So whatever we got to do, we're gonna set the thing aside to get it done. But Jacque, you guys better do this. I'm serious. We're working on figuring out what the platform will be and how we put it up. Shout out to Jamie Harrison and Holly and others who are working on that. Rodney Sampson's platform Pixel, that also was amazingly helpful for this. We're gonna get it done. I'm telling you, like, something feels remarkably different about where we are. We're gonna get it done, y'all.
the things that when I heard all the things that were happening behind the scenes, and when I heard Holly breaking down all the things that she had to string them to MacGyver together to like keep it and keep it going, have it on so many platforms. That to me was just incredible. Like the backstory of this is a story within itself.
Yes.
Right. At some point, that whole thing needs to be told because it was really incredible.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So that's happening. There's things in the works to continue, a seed was planted, right? And now it's being watered and something is coming from that. And I love the concepts that you're throwing out. And just, I was in a meeting the other day talking about programming and things like that. So I'm excited about the direction that this is taking. But I will ask you, Angela, for you, where is your heart when it comes to, I asked Joanne this last week, are you optimistic, especially after this 24-hour thing, about the direction that this country is going in and the resistance that's building up against it? Are you optimistic that, because a lot of people feel like Trump just gonna do what he want to do. He's controlling the House, the Senate, the courts, the this, the that, he's really is surrounded by these cultish people in his cabinet. The military leaders are now part of this, yes, king, whatever. Are you optimistic? And if so, what are you optimistic about?
I am always so humbled to see the fight that exists in Black people. Right now, I feel two things. I feel like we're being called to endure, not endure trauma, not endure pain, but to endure because there are a lot of things that, sure, they will change immediately, but there are others that will take time. It is so frustrating to see hard-fought progress being dialed back like that. It just feels like they pull one single string and so much stuff unraveled. But what I do believe, too, is a point of frustration, but it's also a point of gratitude, is Black people know how to mobilize in crisis. Okay. I so wish that we would just keep this same energy no matter if there was a fire or not. But we like, fire, let's go. You know what I mean? We gonna get it. And so for whatever it takes for us to mobilize, I'm great that we will always find our path. So I am encouraged by that. I'm not encouraged by watching this nonsense, especially because the thing that I've been trying to resist right now, speaking of resistance, is, man, I told y'all. Yeah. Why? We told y'all. Because if we stay in, we told y'all, then that means resentment harbors. That means bitterness is created. That means we're deepening into frustration rather on, okay, so what do we need to do? I resent the fact that I need to do anything because it didn't have to go this way. Right. So I'm trying not to stay there because I'll easily spiral down. That's the thing, Joy, that would keep me up at night. Like, man, I wouldn't even have to, because I'm like, my mom is in chemo. I wanted to be focused on my mom and making sure she was doing well. And still I got to focus on you fools. So I'm mad about that. But I'm like, okay, God, what are you calling me to do in this? What is the thing? And I will tell you the joke I've been kind of saying to myself is, man, now I know how they was in the wilderness for 40 years. Look, I know now. Come on. Right? Because it was a 40-day journey. Yes. But y'all didn't want to say yes, or y'all didn't like who was the line leader, or y'all didn't like whose idea it was, and you disagree with 3.2% of the things, so you said no to the whole thing. Like, I get it now, but what I'm grateful for is I think a lot of us get it at the same moment. So that means something will change, and we're seeing those changes happen in real time. I'm grateful that I'm here to see the change. Exactly. I'm grateful that I can be a part of the change. So I'm trying to deepen. The therapist told me to deepen into gratitude and not what I told you. And so that's what I'm doing. It's an hourly journey. It is. But I'm working on it. And I think that is the point. So I don't feel hopeful about what Trump is doing. But I am hopeful in our response. And I think our response isn't resistance. I think resistance is so 2020. I think our response is opposition. Yes. I think our response is proactive productivity for Black liberation. I think that is different. And I think just that little bit of a shift, not just in the narrative, but in our energy, is going to meet the world.
Oh, I want to ask you about Native Land Pod. Of course, that is yourself, our dear friend and fellow Machete Tiffany Cross, and the great Andrew Gillum, who I still say fight me on this, one of the great political talents of his
Yeah.
generation, a generational
Yeah.
talent who, if I could just, snap my fingers and create magic and make him, run again for governor of Florida, he probably won't do it, but love him. So talk a little bit about Native Land Pod. Talk about what you guys are putting out into the world and about the growth of new media, because you all are part of that rise. In people are really seeking, sources like Native Land, like Read This, Read That. That is where people are going. They're not necessarily going to the mainstream.
Yes, thank you, Joy. We got to make sure we do a little joint pod too, because that would be a lot of fun.
We need a crossover.
We do.
Exactly. I love it. I would love that. I just know that me and Tiff almost every week are telling Andrew he should run too. And Andrew, you just be mad because that's the truth.
Be mad.
But we start our podcast every week saying welcome home, y'all. And that is actually something that Andrew said during our promo for the podcast. Native Land Pod is an homage to James Weldon Johnson, true to our God, true to our native land. And for us, it's also kind of a double entendre. Yes, it's the podcast, but also it's about where we are home. Yes, it's the continent, but we also built this joint for free. And it was imperative to us that we created a safe space for people who could hear truth, who might need to hear a rebuke, who might need to hear conflict, but most of all, hear a path forward. And so that's what we try to do every week. It is my greatest joy to work with my brother and my sister. Andrew and I started doing solo pods. Andrew's solo pod drops Monday. I go live in about an hour to do mine. And then we record Wednesdays and drop Thursday. And then we have a mini pod that drops Friday. So now we're almost to weekday content, daily weekday content. We just take Wednesday off of the recording, which is good. And I think that our point of growth, if we have one, it is, well, we do have several, but one point of growth that I think we should focus on is talking about how we feel about what's going on. We spend some time doing that, but I think it's our natural disposition to be like, we want to get y'all the facts. But I think people don't always just want the facts. They also want perspective. And I think we have to find a better balance in that. And then we could be venting, child. So we go on these little monologues. They don't feel like conversations always, but so it's funny because everybody has their own audience. Me and Tiff get cussed out for not letting Andrew talk. Andrew gets cussed out for talking too much. I get cussed out because I ain't been spending enough time in therapy. They're like, why Angela always in her feelings? So I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. And then Tiff gets cussed out because they're like, why is she so mad at mainstream media? I think all of these things
people really want to know why she's so mad at mainstream media for real.
They don't know. They want to be mad at somebody. And then when we get them on, we trying to find out what they so mad about. So I think that's the thing. We're deepening into solution. Andrew just started a series on organizing people, and it is profound. People think he's just an elected official. Andrew is also an amazing strategist. When Andrew was first elected, he ran something called the Young Elected Officials Network at People for the American Way, and built an incredible bench of progressive elected leaders. That dude can organize his behind off. Anyway, so yeah, it's good. We're enjoying it.
I love that. I want to ask you, because we do want to let you go because you do have another appointment to get to, your podcast. But before we go, I do want to ask you about your wellness journey, like where you are on that. Because your skin is amazing. You're in such great physical shape, and you know this. We don't have to and
that's a lie.
You're juggling parents and a mom that's sick, and you're doing all these amazing things out in the world, as organizing us to keep people informed in a variety of ways that you do that. So I wonder for you, you told us a little bit about what you're doing to help yourself sleep. Are you getting 8 hours? Are you in the gym? How are you eating? You drinking enough water? What's the wellness situation with you?
Well, I know she's not getting 8 hours because she up when I'm up. So go ahead.
I'm gonna fight both of y'all.
We the last two machetes standing. We be like, it's 3:00 in the morning. I got thoughts.
Now here's the worst part. I am 3 hours behind Joy, so deal with her on that. I am on the best coast. I'm out here in Seattle, Washington. Joy, I don't know. Listen. Anyway, I love her. I will say to you, water, I'm pretty good. I'll say I'm about a C+ on water. I need to get better. Shout out to Mountain Valley Peach Sparkling Water, by the way. That is my jam. I am very good on supplements, and also I love helping people develop their own supplement protocol based on their labs. It is not medical advice, it's just suggestions based on what I know works. And the gym, I was hitting it in January and the beginning of February, y'all. I didn't fell off. I didn't backslid. I need to go to the altar and get it right. Like, and I don't have no excuse. I had a gym in the house.
Same.
What am I doing? And Joy, guess what? You sleep better when you hit the gym, get in the tub with that Epsom salt, and go to bed.
It's such a girl. And the sad thing about it is, if the gym was down the street, it would be an excuse. But literally, same here. The gym in the basement. But I'm just like, I can't get down there.
Okay, now I know what else we gonna hold each other accountable on. Jackie, let's start a group text so Jackie can be like, did y'all work? Even if it's 30 minutes a day, Joy, we got to do it, especially given what's going on. And I'm gonna tell y'all, like, Joy is walking joy all the time, and she will make sure everybody else feels good about themselves. So I'm gonna be on you, Joy, because we got to do this. I can't fit some of my clothes. I literally am like, I'm not doing. Hold on, look at this arm. Hold on.
It's the worst feeling. No, look, when I tell you, girl, let me tell you, they be moving. And I used to be so skinny. I used to be called olive oil. What happened to my olive oil body?
I don't
Where
know.
did it at?
I don't know. I cannot. My pants. This. You know when you pull the pants up and the zippers open and it's like this. It stay like this.
On my
thigh meat.
Well, look,
this is my thigh meat. Like, I wish you would try to go. It's so bad.
I can't tell you the times that I have wanted to drop into the big group chat. Is everybody drinking water? Is everybody getting enough sleep?
You should.
Everybody wellness coach, and I love her for it. She is.
I said they gonna go, but I am that person. It's so important because the voices are so important. This movement is so important. But if we don't take care of ourselves, right? You see Irv Gotti stroking out, from diabetes, all these people that are dying dying too soon because of sickness. We're no different. We got to take care of ourselves because the voices are too important. This movement, this is a marathon. We got to be ready for it. Got to
endure. So, and it's not endure by any means necessary. It's like endure well.
Yeah.
If we can endure well. And that means there may be moments where we feel like we just can't. You absolutely can carve out the first hour of your day to pray, to connect to the Most High, to drink, as Queen Afua say, drink your green juice. Like, you got to get those things. They're so nourishing, and it ends up grounding you. So you're centered for the day. You can hear God better. You can be more in tune to where they're coming at you with the distraction versus if it's the main thing. We got to be able to keep the main thing right now. I think we're learning that even about message discipline, across the board. Like, we have to, because they are flooding the zone. Well, we got to stay focused on what it is for the day. Can we just do that? We can't if we're all scattered too. Right. So Jackie, you're right. I can't wait for this group thread because I'm going to be drinking my water. I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to get on the Peloton after I finish my podcast today. And I'm going, what you dropping your mouth open, Joy? We going. Let's go.
No, I look, Jason Reed will be very happy to hear that because every day he's looking at me funny as he's going to the gym and he's like looking at me like, okay, I'm going to be.
That would be a good joint activity, Joy Reed. And can I just take a moment? Jackie, I want you to know, I have always loved Jason Reed. I'm going to cry. I really am. Like, the way that he has showed up, first of all, he always shows up for Joy. That's her ride or die. But the way that he has shown up for her in this moment where Joy, you don't have to say nothing. Just let me say this, where she has been attacked in the press, where she was, wrongfully, I think, terminated from her employer.
Yeah.
The way that Jason has showed up, like, we don't need let's go. Yeah. And not just for her career, but for her personally. Mm-hmm. Like, that is my guy. Like, there's nothing in this world that Jason can't ask me to do that I won't do. He has my sister's back. That is the kind of love that you want people you love to have. And I'm saying it this way because I can't wait for Joy, when she finishes this podcast, to go tell this Black man thank you and to give him a kiss and a hug. Because, Jackie, we were in Selma. And Joy would be like, I got it. And then 2 seconds later, she'd be like, where is Jason? Okay, so he would be right here. And then she'd be like, basically like, leave me alone. And then he would, but they are ride or die besties. Yeah. And I love to see it. They got each other's back for real. And I know their kids see it. It is Black love personified. Come on, modern day Meg
All my
Grimberg.
friends side with Jason and my godmother too. I be
Yes.
calling my godmother like, you
Yeah.
know what Jason did? She said, you know, it's probably your fault. You know,
It's your fault.
it's you.
Yeah. And they've been together for so long since they
Yes.
were babies themselves. It's such a beautiful
Exactly.
love story. And
It
the love that
is.
they have for each other is so beautiful. So yes, I appreciate Jason because he was part of the intervention to try to.
Well, I told him, Jackie, I said, I know that you didn't want her to go. And then afterwards he goes, she needed to be here.
Yeah.
He said it.
He changed his view. That is very true.
But he was
like,
tight. I was like, tell him to call me because I was like, this is a fight I'm willing to have with my brother. I love him.
for real.
But I was like, I'll fight him on this.
He was on Jackie's side, but he ended up being on our side.
She's persuasive, I know. And it was important for her to be there for that. But my thing is, again, when she was there, I said this before you joined, Angela, I guarantee you that she said yes to about 20 to 50 additional things that people asked her for while she was there.
So let me say this. I was the bouncer. It's people in Selma right now who hate me because this was me grabbing joy. I'm like, sorry, she got to go.
That's correct.
I'm saying.
Oh, no. Between Jason Reed and Angela Rye, Cousin Jackie, I couldn't say yes to anything because I would start to talk and they would say, give Sean number, John email.
She was about to give her phone number out. I was like, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. And so it's people, that lady still might be standing in there bar me mugging me. And I'm like, it's not personal. She cannot take that on right now. Like she's here to be nourished. She's here to be upheld and encouraged where she is. She's also here to be in solidarity with everybody else. She is not here to book speaking engagement.
No, on this very podcast a couple of weeks ago, she offered, was calling on Howard University to call her so she could teach a course on what's his name? I can't even remember the baby's name from the Super Bowl, Kendrick Lamar. She wanted to teach a course.
I like it.
I like it too, but
I want to take that class. You don't need to teach a whole course. That could be a class. It could be a session, a lecture in a class called.
Sometimes you got to pop out and show niggas. I mean,
yeah. That should be the name of this.
That should be the name of the class.
You're her doing this.
I know.
No, you have my vote for that. I'm coming to sign up for Howard to take
Angela
that class.
Rye.
But you know what, Jackie? I'm just telling you, for some people that thought they can discard, for her to pop out at Howard. We talking about a once a week lecture.
No,
I like it.
No. I like it.
I know.
Jackie, your nose got to start pray about it first. Your nose got to start coming from, because I understand we protect it first, but just see how it feel in your spirit. Just be still for 3 seconds.
Pray on it.
It's a no.
No, she ain't pray. She ain't pray. She ain't pray with an open heart.
God got that one thing. She called it.
Angela knows as well as I do how this girl says yes to too many things. And
but what about the things that because so you do know there are some people that on the not spectrum like that spectrum, but on the spectrum of highly productive. Yes. She's highly productive. And so there are things that she may feel called to do where she gets energy from them. They will feed something else. I think that Joy should be instructing the next generation of leaders. She should be. Not every day, Jackie.
Is my lawyer. And now y'all have seen the advocacy has taken place.
Here's what I will say. She can say yes to those things if she also prioritizes working out.
Yes.
Healthy. If if there is that balance, if she is getting close to 8 hours of sleep a night a week, then yes. Right? If she's putting the phone down, because I gave her a great wellness schedule. She probably didn't tell you that.
Oh, I want to see it. I need it.
Oh, in the morning from 8 a.m. until 9. She's not supposed to pick up her phone until 10. She's supposed to have breakfast at 9. From 10 to 11, she starts taking calls with friends and family. From 11 to 2, that is when she works. Returning text messages, emails, phone calls, 11 to 2. She takes a break from 2 to 4. And from 4 to 6, that's when she closes out the day. She has dinner from 6 to 9 with friends, whoever. If it's a guest at the house, they go the fuck home at 9 o'clock because that's her time. And then from 9 until She's with her family because she's got that gives her family time and all that kind of stuff. She's the one who's like, I got 600 text messages. I don't know. I'm overwhelmed. Blah, blah, blah. It's too much.
I like this wellness schedule. I just think the pushback you may have from somebody in the news, as you know, Jackie Reed, is starting to respond to work at 11 means you miss most of the news cycle. So she could push back on that. Maybe she gets up a little earlier, maybe the workouts at the beginning of the day. But Joy, that's not bad. Maybe there's an hour in there and then she take a little hour break and then goes back into her stuff. But I do think Joy is going to write another book. I think that she will have a column somewhere because she enjoys writing, including on her Substack. I think teaching is not a bad idea if it's once a week, Joy Reid.
If it's once a week.
And I think figuring out what else, your passion projects around the production stuff that you're doing with Jason, as well as your show that everybody's eager to have, I think that's perfect. She's going to always be highly productive, and we don't want to steal her joy. As we know, hashtag we need joy.
There you go. Negotiation complete.
But I would love to see her run a 5K. Right?
Oh,
yes, run a 5K.
Now Jackie pushing it.
Now you pushing it, girl. I can't even run 100. I can't even do the 100-yard dash anymore.
You can.
Did you used to be fast?
Oh, I used to be real good on track, but that's a long time ago in high school.
Joy, I love it. I'm gonna tell you right now. I love y'all. The only thing I could run is a protest and a Black Student Union. I tried to run. My mom and my brother were fast, so they made me run track. I was in last place in every race until this one girl joined the track team, and then I became 7th. I was like, I'm doing something. I'm beating somebody. Ain't that cold? I'm better in skiing. I was a good ski racer.
Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's ministry is
Jackie
different.
Dog said it's time to get off this podcast.
Like, well,
yes.
We do want to. I'm the regulator of time, and I do want you because I promise she does have to go to do this other podcast. Yes. But listen, you can come back anytime and play around with us and have fun. And we do have to do our crossover episode of Native Land and Read This.
I can't wait.
I love it.
Especially
we love you, Angela Rye, and please say hi to Mama Rye and Papa Rye. Now we didn't talk about Papa Rye. That's a whole different podcast. We're gonna talk about Papa Rye on the next one on the crossover.
Definitely. You got it. You know he ready to drag people on your behalf. And Jackie, I know he loves you too. He's adopted all the machetes. He probably thinks you're his child too.
Well, Angela Rye, we appreciate you for joining us, and we appreciate all that you're doing out in the community to be a part of the opposition.
Yeah,
I love
it. All power to the people. Bye,
power to the people. Love you, sis.
Thank you, love.
Thank you.
Bye. Oh, we love y'all. Done already negotiated my whole life.
Okay. I love that a 5K was thrown in there because that is really going to get you, because you're going to have to stay dedicated. You're going to have to stay well hydrated. You're going to have to do a little bit several times a week to, get on that 5K journey. So I see probably in the fall a 5K for you. And if you do that, then do all the other things.
Then I can do all. Okay, well we are negotiating, so I will work on it. I will work on it. I know
no, you're gonna do that other stuff. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do the
5K. Jazz will appreciate you. I think Jazz is hearing this in the back of her mind, like, yes, that's what I've been trying to tell you.
Yes, so true. I got to keep my good eye on her because I see she's one of the people that's influencing you to do all these things. So I'm keeping my good eye on you, Angela Rye. I love you, but I'm keeping my good eye on you.
You're keeping a weather eye. Just the weather eye.
But I'm gonna start that wellness text. Watch. Y'all gonna see. She just gave me the green light to do it because I try not to move because you and Angela brought me into this space. So I'm what you did, and it's y'all's space. So I'm like, y'all, what we doing as far as wellness with all these powerful
our wellness coach. We love it. We love you, Jackie Reed.
Listen, we love Angela Rye for joining us today, and she will be back. We got to do our crossover.
We
also love you guys. Thank you guys for joining us. And I want to give a shout out to, as you always, make it a point to shout out people that are helping you behind the scenes. Camille Scott, Marquita Curtis Haynes, and Lauren, our intern. Let me get Lauren's last name because I always forget her last name. Girl, charge it to my head, not my heart. Lauren Jackson, our intern, and Anthony White, our editor. And so many people helping us behind the scenes. Brianna Scott Williams is on maternity leave, but she also helps us as well.
Little baby.
We have a great team helping us behind the scenes. Oh, and I also want to thank, Scott, Camille's son, Scott, and Key is his girlfriend who help us with marketing. So thank you to those two as well. So we really have a great team helping us behind the scenes. So I want to follow Joanne's lead and give them a great shout out for all that they're doing. And so thank you to all of them. Thank you to all of you all for watching and supporting us and subscribing and liking and commenting.
Yes.
We appreciate you on our YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and comment. On our social media, please do the same. If you could please follow Joyanne or go to her website, joyannereed.com. Go to her Substack, which I think is joyannereed.com.
That's it. The Substack. I've merged it all together. So you just
go to joyannereed.com.
You got
follow her on all of her social media platforms, Blue Sky. We talked about Substack, Instagram, TikTok. She is everywhere. So please follow her in all those spaces.
Let's support her. And you've got to follow Jacque Reid at vegansexycool.com, Vegan Sexy Cool, also on Instagram. And I know, Jacque, you're launching something new called the Jacque Reid Experience, which I'm very excited about that. Tell us a little bit about it.
So it'll be on YouTube, and you and I, Joanne's been advising me on this because I'm always calling her, should I do this? Should I do that? Yes. So it'll be on YouTube. It'll be a show that I'm doing on YouTube. I'm still going back and forth on how much I'm going to go live, but it'll be a lot of live commentary with interviews with guests, and it will focus on wellness, of course, but also Black girl magic, interviewing a lot of Black women doing amazing things. It'll be what Jacque watches, because I do a lot of TV watching. It'll be a lot of vegan, sexy, cool stuff mixed in there, because I want everybody to be vegan for good reason. So it'll be some guidance for that. So it'll be all those things. It's a Jacque Reid experience. It'll be some, because you say this to me all the time about all the things from my past, all the stories of things that I've done.
Everybody
interview. So it'll be a little bit of my past too, like people that I've worked with, that I've done interviews, revisiting things. So it'll be a hodgepodge of all those things, which is why it's called the Jacque Reid Experience.
Love it, love it, love it. So please follow that. Follow all
on YouTube. Follow the Jacque Reid Experience
on YouTube. Yeah, so you can follow. So your 2 assignments on YouTube is to follow Read This, Read That on YouTube, and also the Jacque Reid Experience on YouTube. I have something coming up on YouTube, but I'm not going to tease that as of yet. But you can follow all of our things. And y'all, please make sure you share this episode, like this episode, tell a friend, tell a foe, subscribe. Maybe don't tell a foe because maybe you don't talk to them, but make sure that you subscribe to all of our things. Also, of course, Read This, Read That is on your Instagram. So feel free to share all of our content. We love you guys, and we will see you all next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Don't try to jump me.